The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation, Stewart Title, or Stewart Insurance. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
Whether you're a real estate broker, realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, everything matters when it comes to real estate. This is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Stewart Title's Bill Knapik and guests open the door to what really matters in owning, buying, and selling real estate. And now, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, brought to you by Stewart Insurance. Here to inform, entertain, and inspire, Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title, and I'm your host, Bill Knapik. Thank you for joining us. We have a super show. We're going to talk about Tomball, Cypress, so many things, so many great areas in Houston, Texas. We have an awesome team right here from RE/MAX Property Group, and we're going to get down to business right away. We're going to start with broker-owner Mylia Davis. She is here with us. Mylia, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
And your team is incredible. We're having fun before the show started already, so who knows what's going to happen, right?
Right. I can't wait.
So, first of all, let's tell people are listening right here all over Houston and even beyond. Let's tell them about your company, RE/MAX Property Group.
So we launched in the middle of the pandemic in 2020. Everybody thought we were nuts. And I actually was a little nervous, but who would have thought that a pandemic would create such amazing opportunities for real estate? It's been record-breaking for hardworking agents. And we just had an incredible year. So fortunate, so blessed, super excited.
Well, no doubt about it. In fact, that would be an interesting show in itself. All the kinds of businesses that did start during the pandemic right there. We also know people had gotten through the pandemic in a certain way, but real estate, we've been fortunate that it is one of the ones that really has been strong. And I don't know where it's going from here, but it's really unbelievable.
That's true. And, we maybe had about a week that we did a lot of Zoom calls with our clients and all of that back in that it seems like so long ago in 2020, but we really never dipped. We hit the ground running. Our clients were active and we all were very proactive, wearing masks and booties and hand sanitizer coming out of our ears, but we just plowed through and had a great year.
So there you are. You established the company. Let's tell people about your company right here in Houston. People are listening, but certainly even beyond. You may have someone reach out to you from another state. Who knows? But let's tell them about your company and kind of how you operate in the area that you work in.
So we say that we work the northwest quadrant of Houston. And if you're not from Houston, that's kind of a hard question. But, it can take 2 to 3 hours to get from one end of Houston to the other. So we really specialize. Our office is in Cypress. We are in the heart of Fairfield, which is a master plan community. But we really work all the way to Galveston. And we have agents all over Texas, really, Dallas. We can help in Austin, College Station, Beaumont, and we have an office in the Rio Grande Valley as well, where we actually have 2 franchises, the commercial as well as residential. So we can kind of help all over the state.
And as far as your office in Cypress, we're hearing so much about Cypress, too. To say it's exploding, every place is really. You can take the Woodlands and all that. But, yes, everything is growing in a tremendous way. But Cypress, how about that 99? That kind of sort of helped Cypress, Tomball, and all those things.
Absolutely. The loop really helped us. The 99 changed a lot of things, but really, I believe Cypress boomed after Harvey because Cypress really didn't flood the way other areas did. It was very high and dry, and the emergency medical teams that were coming in and out on their helicopters, they made Cypress their home base.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So that really brought a lot of attention to Cypress, and I think a lot of people realized that, hey, if I don't want my house to flood, I'm going to head towards the northwest part of Houston and buy there.
My house flooded, so I wish I lived in Cypress.
Yeah.
I mean,
Come
really.
on over.
Well, I guess it's not too late, is it?
It's not too late.
On that note, there are buyers that are getting fatigued right now because it is there's challenges to buying. However, let's give them a word of encouragement. If someone reaches out to you and or your team and they say, Mylia, I want to buy a home. Let's take Cypress, for example. Can I even buy one, or what kind of exercises do I have to go through to get a home to buy one in the Cypress area, we'll say?
Well, the most important thing is to have an agent that knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Like you and the team.
Absolutely. Our team is really hardworking, and we we establish a relationship with the other agent, whoever is listing the house, to ensure that our clients are well represented. And then we have a whole checklist of things that a buyer should have ready so that when we present our offer, it's absolutely the strongest possible offer to win.
Also would guess that you have a knowledge sometimes of what's coming on the market, I'm guessing, and that might help the buyer as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, owning a brokerage really helps. We have 26 agents, all of them listing, and all of them with their, their boots are on the ground, so they definitely have an ear out on what's coming, and that really helps our buyers as well.
Even when you're not having meetings, and I would assume you have regular meetings, just talking to each other, communication right now has to be paramount.
Absolutely. Well, we have our monthly meetings. We're actually making them events. So we just had a St. Patrick's Day party every month.
Oh, I want to go.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
The next one is Easter. You can come join us. It's next week.
Okay.
So every meeting has a theme so that everybody has a lot of fun. But we do communicate market data, and share a lot of information so that our agents are the most knowledgeable.
Give us an idea of some of the other company distinctions that you have. Certainly knowledgeable, hardworking. Those are big things. But what else? Because you have assembled just the few people that you have here. I say few, cast of thousands perhaps. But you have super people here. I could tell that already. But let's talk about your team and some of the other distinctions you have.
I think the main distinction is that we don't cut corners. So if we're going to list a house, we actually deep clean it, which women really loved. I mean, that means they clean the toilets for you, the showers, the ceiling fan blades, the windowsills that have never been cleaned. So we deep clean it so that the house smells good. Baseboards, everything. Yeah, it's a whole team of women that attack your house for a whole day.
Right there.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It is. It really sets us apart, and people really love it because you don't have time for that. And we professionally stage it so it looks like a model home. It smells, when you walk into a model home, you don't smell last night's cooking, right? So that's what we do for a house. Is we really neutralize it and make it look like Pinterest perfect. And then we only use professional photography, drone photography, aerials. We really go one step above. And then the one thing that I really think differentiates us is that we do a community video for wherever that house is. So, for example, our master plan community, Bridgeland, a lot of people have heard about Bridgeland. It's won awards nationally. We do a video showing all the amenities that Bridgeland has, and then we release that on social media so that all those guys in California and New York, which we know we have a love-hate with both coasts, but they're coming into Texas and they don't know what Bridgeland looks like. They live in, these buildings where they can touch their neighbor's wall, and they don't understand that there's these lakes that you can actually get in a canoe and go around with your family and enjoy it, and the amazing schools and all of that. So the community videos have really played a part, especially during COVID, in educating potential buyers on what there is here in Cypress.
And that's a super thing, the communities, because as you're saying, Bridgeland, and then if we're talking about Tomball or another place in the Houston area, which is, for those listening outside, is gigantic and spread out. I mean, that is a real service. We have not heard that here in 421 shows. You're on top of it.
Yeah, well, we have a great YouTube channel, so it's RE/MAX Property Group on YouTube, and any community you want. We do Glenlock Farms in Spring. We have Lake Conroe. We have Galveston. We have Crystal Beach. It's not just, Cypress where our office is. So we have community videos for just about, we have one on Tomball. It's gotten, I think, over 5,000 views on Little Tomball, from people that are checking it out. So just about any neighborhood, you can find it on our YouTube channel.
And again, the YouTube channel is?
RE/MAX Property Group.
It's that easy, huh?
It's that easy.
So what are some of the other things that you were thinking about from a leadership standpoint as you assembled the team, the fine team that's here? We're going to hear from at least three of the other people in your company. But what was the thinking as you assembled the team, and how did you know who's the right person to be on the team?
Yeah, so my background is in television, so I ran Univision, and the last job I had, I was the network. I was in charge of network sales, and my greatest strength was building teams. And I think that judging someone's DNA and the feel for someone's DNA is what, makes a really great team. You don't want 10 people that are exactly alike. We want people with different strengths. That way, together, we are an amazing group. right? So I think that if you were to line up all of the agents, there wouldn't be one that you wouldn't want to spend an hour having lunch with and having a conversation with, because they're just that genuine and honest. They have integrity. Those are really the values that I wanted to assemble more than anything. Hardworking, but just genuine, great big hearts. You know, we give back. We volunteer a lot. We do a lot of fundraising for childhood cancer, MD Anderson, that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we could, I'd extend the show another hour or two just to get to talk to you all in even more depth, because you're right. That's the feeling I got the moment I met you all assembled right there in the reception area. Just saying.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's what I was trying to build.
And that makes a huge difference when you're interacting, helping buyers and sellers day in and day out, right?
That's right. They want someone they can trust. That the number one quality, other than, communicating, always, getting back to them, is, can I trust you? I mean, this is the largest purchase anyone will make in their life. So we don't take that lightly. It's a huge responsibility.
And not only that, there's so many components. You talked about the things you're doing, from cleaning to staging, the photography, the community. All those things are so important. But for the buyer or seller, there's so many components to the sale. Either case, they're thinking, oh, and then I have to move. So there's another 3 pages of to-do lists. And if they have children, each child has their own volume of to-dos to take care of during the course of a move. So having empathy and sensitivity to that is so important, because, moving is a big thing financially, but emotionally it's also very expensive, if you will, right?
It really is. And you bring that up, and it's one of the reasons why I love real estate, is that in my past life I sold air. You are very familiar with selling air, commercial time, right?
We are in the air right now.
We are in the air right now.
In the air.
So
That's
very
right.
familiar with that. But the fulfillment that you get when you close, either selling the house or getting that buyer the house they want, the little kids run inside and they're super excited and they're picking out their rooms, and helping a widow get to the next stage, or empty nesters, or that couple that's pregnant.
What about the puppy that's going to go in the backyard?
Puppy.
Yes, the puppy.
Yeah, it's just those are the great moments, right? That's what we live for. Closing day is an amazing day and beyond, because we stay in touch with our clients after they've had the baby, once the grandkids, the vacation home, and we really do become friends and establish that relationship for the future.
No doubt about it. And I'm sure that you have many people, you and your team, call you after the fact for the next home and the next sale. And probably every now and then an investor or two says, you know what, I want to buy an extra home, especially in this market, just to have a spare.
Absolutely. My friends back from both coasts, New York and LA, they constantly call me, hey, what can I buy? I got $250,000. What can I do with this money? And so, they don't know Houston from, Adam.
Sure.
So it's a great opportunity to invest. We have affordable homes that can either be long-term, leases, or short-term vacation rentals in Galveston or Lake Conroe. So we do a lot of that as well.
That's a good point. When they pose that from an investment standpoint, when they pose it to you like that, I have X dollars. What happens then? What do you say then? Okay, let's say I have $300,000. What can you get me?
I'm on it.
You go to work.
That's my answer.
That's the answer. Yes.
I am on it. And then I start doing research like crazy and finding where their return rate is going to be the best, whether it's a long-term, depending on what they want with their money and how they want to invest it. That's what I do. And then we figure it out if it's going to be short-term or long-term, or if they just want to buy a little piece of heaven, over there by the lake where Margaritaville's exploding.
Barndominium.
A barndominium, a little ranchette. Some people just want a little piece of Texas.
Well, very nice. Before we close this segment, Myaleah Davis, broker owner of RE/MAX Property Group, what else do you want people to know?
I just want people to know that they can stop by anytime. Call me, 713-253-0104. Any one of our agents will answer the phone immediately. And we are really happy to help you, whatever you may need. 713-253-0104.
And thanks for being on the show and bringing the team. We're going to meet them right now.
Sure. Thank you.
And now let's meet the team. Also with RE/MAX Property Group, Anita Lloyd is here. Anita, welcome to the show.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing great. Well, let's tell people, here you are on this dynamic team, a super team, one that, quite frankly, if I didn't have a job, I'd be knocking at your door right now.
Amen.
I want to join. However, I'm enjoying what I'm doing here. So let's tell people your role on the team at RE/MAX Property Group.
So my background is more of in the accounting and detail oriented. So I help with the paperwork besides being an agent and helping with listings and buyers and such. But I help with Malia keeping the brokerage on the right path.
Well, the numbers are so important. I would think that the numbers, the accounting background that you're talking about would really come into play also, just helping buyers and sellers too.
Exactly. For contracts especially, and understanding how to run comps and run numbers and everything for them and be able to explain it to them to where they can understand it.
Well, interpreting those numbers, it sounds like a real key because, again, as we talked about, there's so many things the buyers and sellers and families or individuals are thinking about. So that comes in handy navigating people through the process.
Exactly. You want to be there for them to answer their questions and make them understand the process because that makes them more at ease when they purchase a home or sell a home and understand all the numbers that are involved.
Well, as far as real estate goes, you could have gone into accounting or stayed in accounting, but let's tell people why you chose real estate for your profession.
Malia Davis. That's the reason.
Really?
Yes, it was.
Those two words?
Yes.
How about that?
We were soccer moms together for years.
Really?
And I worked at the school as a finance secretary, and she came in for, 2 years, pestering me to become an agent and to start this process.
Give us an idea. What was it that she said? I'm sure there were quite a few things telling you about the potential, I'm guessing I wasn't there, but telling you about the potential, seeing qualities in you. But what was there one or two things where you said, you know what, I'm going to do it?
So she was saying how busy she was and how much
she needed help.
She needed help. And I love her to death. We've been friends for a long time. But it's
pretty awesome.
I love her energy. She just taught me so much. And I just want to be a part of what she was building.
And how long ago did you join the team?
2017.
2017. So here you are. And again, that's kind of right around the Harvey, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Right before.
Oh, my goodness.
It was June before Harvey.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
And it's going pretty well, it sounds like.
It's amazing. It's hard work, but we do that because we want to strive to maintain relationships with our clients.
And I'm going to guess from 2017 to now, and this, I think especially the last 2 years, it's harder for the buyer, not so much the sellers, as long as they know where they're going. But I think it's the realtor, the real estate professional has more challenges as well because it's harder to find homes, I'm guessing. So from 2017 till today, you've adjusted to this new market.
Right, and you have to go with the ebb and flow of a market. You have to understand it. Numbers are super important to see where it's going, but also knowing what to do on a contract, to be knowledgeable and experienced and guide the buyers especially to be able to win an offer. So it's been great. It's been a ride, but it's been really good.
There's no doubt about that. Right now, the buyer especially needs the right real estate professional like you, right?
Yes, that's what I like to say.
And that's what you tell them, I bet.
Yes. Well, our goal is to earn their trust and to talk to them and to explain things and walk them through things and help them, guide them to buy the home.
Well, let's talk about the seller for a minute. Some people think the seller, it's just a walk in the park. And maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I would guess it's easy to sell a home pretty quickly. But let's tell people, when you advise, if I'm a seller and I say, Anita, I want to sell my house. I hear the market is pretty brisk. It's a seller's market. What else? How else do you advise the seller if they say that to you, and where do you go from there?
So it's very important to run comps and run numbers and help them understand. Just because the market's hot, you can't go crazy over what the market is willing to bear. Now, you can go up higher than what we would do in the past, but we do have to understand the market all the way through to help guide the sellers as well. Because if you price it too high, it can sit even in this hot market. So you have to know what you're doing with that and how to present the home. Again, the package that we provide to sell a home, it's beyond what most people do.
No, it really is. I mean, when you're talking about the cleaning aspect, you do that with every listing?
Every listing.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, we provide the cleaning, staging, and the professional photography.
Now, I'm going to guess that if I'm a seller and you sold my house and you did all those things, I'm talking to my friend over here that's getting ready to sell their home, and I'll say, hey, these guys at RE/MAX Property Group, they cleaned. They made sure the pictures were perfect. They made sure this, that. I bet that happens all the time.
That is what we strive to get.
That's good advertising.
Referrals. Referrals is the way we like to do things because we want to. Our work needs to speak for itself. besides marketing, of course. But we want people to say, "Oh man, they did a great job,"
and
they did an
right?
awesome. Yes, we do. Most of our business is referral based.
That's incredible. As far as what about social media? What do you use for social media? How much do you use it? Is it worth it? What vehicles do you use? Facebook or what?
So Miley is really awesome about pushing us into that realm. We try to hit everything. Miley is always on the pulse of social media, and she teaches constantly. Us how
she
to
knows
get
a lot
into,
of stuff.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, we just scratched the surface on her segment.
Yeah, she's got an amazing, and she's an amazing resource. She teaches us so much, and she pushes us outside our comfort zone. Not everybody wants to be filming themselves or stuff like that. And she's like, "Come on, let's do it." She has a positive vibe, and we do it, and it works. It gets the word out there. We get leads from Facebook. We get leads from Google Business because she's helped us get on there. So social media is huge, and we try to take advantage of every aspect.
And it probably doesn't hurt being on the radio either at 5
it
o'clock to
doesn't.
6 o'clock, a powerful real estate hour on a Sunday afternoon.
So next level.
That's what we're here to help. And as far as that goes, if you're out there on the street, and most realtors are at about Sunday afternoon, I am amazed every time I leave the house and I'm driving around anywhere from 3 till 6 p.m. on a Sunday. There are thousands and thousands of cars on every freeway. You've seen it, right?
Yes.
It's and then when you look, let's say you're on 45 or 59, and then you look to the right or left and you see all the restaurants, the Cracker Barrel, Papa Do's, Olive Garden. The parking lots are packed.
Exactly. And that's why we also do the open houses and such on the weekends, because people are out and about and they want to go look at houses and enjoy the time on the weekends. And we're working. We love meeting people and talking to them at open houses.
And no doubt. And I think they like interacting with your team. Anita, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know?
Well, I wanted to also let them know that we have several bilingual agents. There are not as many. I'm in Cypress area anyway. So we're happy to help. Nos gustaría ayudarles cuando quieran.
Muy bien. See, I can be silent in 7 languages. Anita, let's tell people how they can reach you.
Okay, my number is 832-217-8763. Give me a call.
Again?
I'll help you guide you home. 832-217-8763.
Anita Lloyd. Thank you, Anita.
Thank you.
As we continue with this awesome team, let's welcome Laura LaGiudice.
Awesome pronunciation. Very good.
Thank you so much. You know, I was working on that, Laura, with your help, right?
Yes.
So here we are. What a team so far. And here you are. Let's tell people about your role on this dynamic team.
So I'm one of the agents, one of the blessed and lucky agents to be a part of this team. And I do buying and selling and leasing. We also help people find lease properties if they can't find a home to buy. And I've been with this team since July of 2019.
You mentioned leasing. That's interesting. How often are you running into, in this crazy market, you have buyers, sellers, all that, but what about leasing? Are you doing a lot of that or a little?
We get a lot of requests for that because if people are, especially if they're selling from out of state and then they're moving here for relocation, then they need a place to stay. So oftentimes they'll do a corporate lease. It could be 6 months. It could be a year. Sometimes they'll do Airbnbs, but they have to find something temporarily until they can find a home to purchase. And when they relocate here, I just recently helped a family from upstate New York move here. They thought that they could just come down with cash, buy something fast, and then they realized, oh no, this is not going to happen that fast. So they had to live with their son-in-law and daughter, and that was hard. and
after about
a house. Yes, and after about a month of looking, they're like, okay, let's just get something.
We'll just take anything.
Yes. They quickly, we went from being picky to, okay, we're going to take this. And so anyway, it worked out. But sometimes that was another option we were going to discuss was leasing if we couldn't find something to purchase. So that happens often.
Well, on that note, that's one of the things, especially if you come from another place, you've not been to Houston, maybe 1 or 2 trips, you might have been, but still, I don't think that's enough time to know unless you have a trusted person that tells you, hey, you got to be over here in Bridgeland or you got to be in Tomball. That might be different, but still, many people want to rent, lease, check it out, and then buy.
Correct. And then sometimes what we also have to do with out-of-state families, or individuals is FaceTime properties with them. So if they can't come to actually check out the property in person, we'll go and we'll FaceTime the property for them. And that helps. I mean, it's not the same. I helped a family last summer relocate from Minnesota, a family of 6. And the FaceTime was not easy, but we did the best we could. And then when they actually got here to see the home that they purchased, I wouldn't say it was buyer's remorse, but, it's always different in person than it is on video. But they also knew we were in a multiple offer situation. They had to act quickly. And so they made the best of it, and the FaceTime helped. And that's what we have to do sometimes. And so it's not everyone can afford to just hop on a plane and jump down and come and see it all over Houston. They have limited amounts of time to check it out, and it's such a vast territory to cover. And so what I try to do with buyers is say, okay, let's focus on one particular area. Let's try this zip code. Let's look at it, check out the properties. If that doesn't work, we'll check out another zip code. But Houston is so large that I don't think that people who are moving from out of state understand how big Harris County is, how spread out it is.
It's gigantic. Yeah, there's no question about it. Just going back to the leasing thing for a second. Can people get a short-term lease to enable the process? Let's say I want to lease something for 6 months. I don't want to wait a whole year to learn the area, but I think in 6 months, is that possible? Is that happening?
It depends on the owner. It depends on the landlord if they're willing to do that. If it's a landlord's owning a property, they may be up for doing a 6-month lease, but it may cost more on a monthly basis. Usually, it's going to be a year-long lease most of the time. And again, leases can be competitive as well as purchases. So sometimes we're seeing the lease price maybe say
multiple offers on the lease.
Multiple applications on the lease. And so I had one where it was a $1,900 a month lease.
I'll give you $25.
Well, that's what we ended up having to go up to, was about $2,200, because we had multiple applications, and the leasing agent contacted all the agents who were putting in applications for the possible tenants saying, hey, you're going to have to come up on your offer. So, yeah. It's competitive in the lease market just like it is in the buyer market.
As far as the challenges for you, the realtor, you're going and looking at the homes, you're making the multiple offer, or you're making multiple offers for the buyer in the case where their offer doesn't get accepted. That's extra wear and tear on the real estate professional like yourself and the team. How are you adjusting to that, and what's that like?
Well, with multiple offers, I'm just very blunt with my clients at the get-go. When we sit down to talk about the offer, we go over the parts of the contract and what's going to make the offer the most acceptable, or in the eyes of the owners, the most desirable. Let's try to look at our option period where we have to have the inspection done. Instead of requesting a 10-day option, let's request a 5-day. Let's put extra earnest money down if we have to. It's really trying to educate buyers. It used to be, well, let's just offer $5,000 under, or right at full price. You're going to have to go over most likely, especially in certain sections of Houston where the schools are really desirable and people want to be in a particular area. So you have to go over the contract and just discuss those details ahead of time. And even before we actually start looking at houses, I have that conversation with buyers.
So you're already talking about it and helping them, getting them ready for what they're about to see,
Correct.
Whether it's right there online, and then you take them out to see the property. Many times you go to the property and you got to act quick.
Yes, and the most important thing with buyers is they have to be pre-approved. So before we go and look, I always have that conversation as well. Have you been pre-approved? What kind of loan are you using? Who's your lender? We discuss those scenarios as well, because you don't want to get into the process of looking. You don't have the pre-approval. It doesn't make any sense. So those are just some things you have to sit down and have a conversation with the buyer before you start looking all over Houston at different properties. And you don't want to get people's hopes up. And so we have a list of lenders that we could provide to people if they don't have a lender. But that's step number one.
How often you're running into the cash buyer?
More often than I used to. So, yeah.
Okay, so out of the last 10 transactions.
Oh, gosh.
Or last 5, to make it easier maybe, how many were cash? Or none out of the 5?
So on the selling side, if I'm listing a property, I've had offers. I would say at least the last 3 transactions were cash.
Oh, wow.
Not today's. I closed today on one, but that was not a cash. But we are seeing people who are moving from out of state who maybe it's not an all cash offer. They're putting a large percentage down, maybe 40, 50% down. So you do have out of state buyers who are coming in with large pockets.
And we always hear about the California buyer and people coming from California. Let's put them aside and we'll say, yeah, there's more of them coming over here. And that's great. If you're listening and you came from California, welcome. However, what other place do you see people coming from?
So I would say New York. Also, I had a couple from Michigan. I have a family right now I'm talking to from Wyoming. So, and they're coming down. Wyoming, yes. They're actually going to be some lease clients because they want to buy, but they need to lease first. So California and New York are still the top two states, but we're also seeing other states like Minnesota, Michigan, Wyoming I just mentioned. I think that's it for right now. I can't think of anybody else, but...
We're talking with Laura LaJudice. Laura, before we close the segment, what else you want people to know?
Well, I just want everyone to know this team is amazing. We have so much fun working together. That's what makes, I think, us so productive and successful. We have a lot of fun together. We get each other. We have crazy senses of humor, and we also support each other. There's no competition. We work together as a team, and that, to me, makes us so successful. We build each other up. We help each other when we have those bad days, and so that's, to me, that makes us successful. That's going to help you, the seller or the buyer, when it comes time for you to do your real estate transaction, because you're going to be working with an awesome group of people who really enjoy our jobs. We enjoy helping each other, and so we're going to make it easy for you.
No question about it. Let's tell people how they can reach you.
So my cell number is 713-320-0562. And yeah, I'd love to help you. If you have any questions, I've lived here since 1997. 713-320-0562.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks.
And now, drum roll, also on the team, RE/MAX Property Group, that is, Melissa Sanchez is here. Hey, Melissa, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having us.
Well, it's super awesome. What a team. I'm excited. Like I said, I could talk for hours to you guys because it's so much fun. You're making the real estate experience, and I haven't even looked at a home with you or put my home on the market, but I know you're going to do a great job. Let's tell people you're on the team with these great people. Let's tell them your role on the team.
I am also an agent. We work with buyers and sellers and whoever needs to lease a property as well. We also have the commercial side. I've dabbled in the commercial a little bit, but I tend to really enjoy the residential more. Like working with people and helping them find a home.
Now, as far as geography, the office is in Cypress. Give us an idea. Do you focus in your work on a certain geography? Do you live in Cypress? I forget.
No, I live in Spring.
In Spring, okay.
That's another good thing about our team and our new little crew that we have put together, our little family. We're all spread out all over the Cypress, Spring, Tomball area. So we all have different areas that we specialize in because we know more about, but we go all over Houston and Cypress, Tomball, Galveston, Bay City, even down to Port Aransas. We go wherever our buyers want to go.
Wherever need to go. In fact, if we were in the Northeast, the areas that you mentioned, that would be like you'd be going to different states. And, of course, Texas is gigantic, as is Houston. So we're kind of unique geography here compared to the rest of the country. And that's a fact. Just saying. In the meantime, let's tell people you're in real estate here for the last 3 to 5 years. What is it about real estate that got your interest to say, hey, I want to be a real estate professional?
It's the relationships. I really do enjoy meeting the people and learning about their family and their dynamic. And we start from the beginning and learn about them first so that we know where to guide them and what home's going to work best for them. Or if they're selling, we need to know their personality and what they need as far as nurture to get them through the transaction, to help them feel more comfortable with us and to trust us. And then with the buyers, the same way. We have to get to know them and know their wants and needs and also their budget so that we know where to kind of steer them a little bit into the direction of where we can find them the perfect home.
And when you talk about the budget, it seems like we know home property values and pricing is going up. So maybe 2 years ago, someone was saying, hey, I want to spend $300,000 for that same home. I don't know what it would be now, maybe $350,000, maybe $375,000. What do you think?
It has gone up. And another thing, too, that we like to guide our clients on is just because maybe they're their budget, there's for what they're approved for, maybe is $400. We need to make sure we need to learn about their family and their dynamic with their situation, and make sure that they're not getting themselves stretched so far at the top of their budget. So what I always do is we look, we talk, we see kind of what they have in mind, and then we start out. If their budget is, or if they're approved up to $400, we start at $375.
That's smart.
To give them a little bit of a cushion, so that we may not max them out at what they're approved for, so that they do we make sure they can save for extra things along the way, family vacations or emergencies, so that we don't max them out on the home.
And I don't know from Bridgeland, Cypress, Spring, Tomball, but I know certain areas in Houston also, when we're talking about pricing and affordability, certain areas of Houston have different tax rates. Some have a higher tax rate. That comes into play as well.
That comes into play when you're looking at their mortgage. So that's also something we need to educate them on, because sometimes if people have never purchased a home before, they don't know they have to factor in the taxes and the HOA dues that they have to pay every year. They don't know they have to factor in their insurance. They think, okay, we can afford $2,000 a month, so we can afford X amount of dollars on our home. They don't think that on the back end of that $2,000 a month, they're going to have to factor in those other items as well.
Other thing I'm thinking about, other than the new home purchasers, people from other states, our property taxes in many cases is way higher than a lot of other states. Like, for example, someone mentioned, Laura mentioned Wyoming, I think, and Wyoming has a super low property tax. Hey, welcome to Houston. It's about maybe 5 times that in Wyoming.
We do have to educate
and
that.
And even California, for that matter.
Yes, we do. They need to know up front everything that they need to look at, especially if they're coming in from out of state. We make sure that we guide them in the proper, in all the knowledge and the steps that they need to make sure that when they're looking at the bottom line, that they have all of these other factors that they're aware of.
And you and the team are there to navigate through all these details, and there are many.
There are a lot. Sometimes if we have a client they don't have lot of extra cash to come up higher and higher and higher above the asking price, because we have a lot right now that if we're in multiple offer situations, they have to go way above the asking price to win the bid. So sometimes if you have a client they don't have deep pockets, they don't have the extra cash, then maybe we need to have them look at other alternatives like new construction, if they have the time to wait for one to be built. Then we guide them in that direction, look at some new construction. If they have 3 to 6 months to wait for a new build, then they don't have to get in a bidding war on a home, so it might be a more comfortable selection for them.
So let's say, from the buyer standpoint, let's say you've helped the last 3 or 4 buyers, however many it is, and they were successful. They got the home, right? And you've had buyers, I guess, that had to keep looking. But in the meantime, the ones that you were successful, how many of them out of the last 3 had to pay more than the asking price?
Oh, I would say
all of them?
The last 3?
Everyone.
3.
Everyone?
Everyone.
And give us an idea of how much they had to pay over. Like, one was this much.
Well, a few have been fortunate enough. If you write the offer in the right way, and then you put in you look at every aspect of the contract, you have good communication with the seller, with the listing agent. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to give a $50,000 over asking if you have that good relationship with the other agent, and maybe work out other factors like you pay title policy, or you give them a free lease back for a month or 2 if they need that. That might be a little bit more along the lines of what they need, what the seller needs. So you always just ask the listing agent, hey, what's going to look good to them? What's going to make our offer stronger? And sometimes they'll tell you. And then sometimes you can go over 10,000 over asking. You still get the offer because you have all the other factors into place.
So that's a good thing. And that's why we want to work with a knowledgeable real estate professional like you and the team. You, Melissa Sanchez, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, Melissa, before we close this segment, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing out there on the RE/MAX Property Group team?
Well, give us a call. We have, as Laura said, we have a great team. You don't just get one agent. You get a little army of women working hard for you. If one of us has to step out for any reason, have to go out of town, have a family emergency, we don't miss a beat. Someone else steps in. We have each other's backs 100%, and it's a great teamwork effort that we have at our.
I think we've had about 420. This might be 421, show number 421, and the words "army of women" have never been uttered, as far as I know,
because you've
until
never
today.
had us on your show.
That is awesome. That's right. An army of women there to help, to serve buying and selling. And your number, Melissa Sanchez, is?
281-253-2887.
Sounds like you said 281-253-2887.
Yes.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
I say it all the time, stay close to your Stewart Title Business Development Officer. And today, Becky Bohannon is responsible. She's business development in Tomball, Texas. She brought this dynamic team here. Becky, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
You get to work with these people?
I do.
I want your job.
I am very lucky to work with these people. Very lucky.
Super people and a super team. Let's tell people a quick word about your office right there in Tomball, Texas.
All right. Well, I am the Business Development Officer for Stewart Title in Tomball. We are located off of 2920 and 249. The one thing I want to say about our office that I'm very proud of is we have been the #1 office for 2 years in a row.
#1.
And that is out of all of the Houston offices. And that is because, that's for resales. So that's not because we have a builder account. It's all strictly resales. So I'm super proud of that. And I hope we can continue to keep that going.
I have a feeling this year you'll exceed that even.
Well, I hope so.
No doubt about it.
Yes.
Becky Bohannon, people want to close there in Tomball, Texas with you, and the escrow offices are legendary at your office. Give us a word. What's their names real quick?
So we have 3 escrow officers, Jane Matthews, Julie Nollcamper, and Jolene Kafusi. Julie Nollcamper was just recently promoted to escrow officer, and she was trained by the very best Jane Matthews. So we're super excited for her. She's already done an amazing job, and it's only going to get better. So.
And when people want to close at Stewart Title Tomball, what's the number?
281-357-8277.
One more time.
281-357-8277.
There you go. Thank you, Becky Bohannon.
Thank you.
If you're a real estate professional, then listen closely. Cyber criminals are targeting our industry. They are impersonating real estate professionals, homebuyers, sellers, and title agents. Their goal is to gain access to your inboxes, computers, and clients so they can steal information and funds. Does your business insurance offset these risks? Not sure? Contact Stewart Insurance to determine if your business is properly insured. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827. Visit stewartinsurance.com or call 866-798-2827.
Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title would not be possible without our partner, Stewart Insurance. With a focus in real estate and a special focus on real estate brokers, Stewart Insurance creates insurance plans to address the risks facing our industry today. They invest a significant amount of time helping real estate broker owners offset and manage their risks. Here he is, John Bramlett with Stewart Insurance.
Hello, Bill. How are you, sir?
Here we are, Army of Women.
Army
what a
of
show.
Women.
It's incredible.
It is.
So here we are. The insurance segment is tremendous. People email me all the time. They say, we want more insurance. And here you are. You bring something different each show. What have you brought for us today?
Well, last week we talked a little bit about how the pandemic had affected home plans. And what I wanted to talk a little bit about today is your auto plan and the fact that either you have seen your premium go up or you might be seeing your premium go up. And I wanted to at least let our listeners know why, that it's not just the insurance companies deciding what the heck, let's raise rates.
We need more money, yeah.
Yes, they do need more money, but there's some business reasons behind it. You know, we had talked about several shows ago when we looked at why rates had gone up just kind of across the board. The fact that the insurers have had to deal with all the different natural disasters that we've had over the last several years. So that's kind of a broad area. The other thing that's come into play, according to the American Property and Casualty Association, is that insurance companies haven't kept up. Their premium increases have not kept up with the rate of inflation increase. So what we've seen this significant increase in inflation over the last several months, and the insurance companies have not done a really good job of keeping up with that, and they're trying to catch up a bit. Something like we've seen a 7.5% increase, from the Consumer Price Index from the Business and Labor Statistics. They announced that in January, and insurance companies really haven't kept up with that. They saw about, if you looked at the private insurance property casualty firms across the board, so all of them, last year they saw something like $11.3 billion loss in premiums in the third quarter of last year, and underwriting losses, but they only saw an increase in their rates of about 3% on auto. So that's part of it, is they haven't kept up with what's happening in the marketplace. The other thing that's happening is because of inflation, everything around an auto plan has gone up. The cost of a new car, or used car, getting your car repaired. If you're hurt, the medical expenses, that's all gone up. So, that's going to affect your premium as well. The other thing that we're seeing, two other things we are seeing is coming out of the pandemic, we're within 1% of the traffic volume that we saw prior to the pandemic. So people are back driving. So more people on the road, more chances for accidents, greater chance for accidents. In fact, we've seen something like a 12% increase in vehicle crash fatality rates over the last 9 months. The other thing that they're seeing is evidently the pandemic has caused us to be worse drivers.
Really?
So we're not using our seatbelt as much. We're driving impaired. We're driving too fast. So we're not being smart about how we drive. So we're our own worst enemies.
Well, one of the things I thought you were going to say, maybe you will, and that is we're seeing more crimes on the car. The catalytic converter thing, and right there, those are several $1,000s. That happened to my son. That happened to Will here, our producer. So that in itself, I think there's more frequency of that, not just here in Houston, San Antonio, around the country. You've got that. And I hate to say it, but probably people have been stealing gas, and that might, if the price goes higher, that might be another thing where they're going to be breaking into our gas tanks.
Well, anytime that there's an increase in risk, you're going to see an increase in premium. So, whether that risk is during, that's why you may not be able to get a flood plan during hurricane season if we've got a storm in the Gulf, because there's an increase in risk, or, the cost of insuring a brand new home versus the cost of insuring a home that's 50 years old is going to be different because there's greater risk. If you're an insurance brokerage firm and you have 1,500 agents all over the U.S. versus 3 agents only in Houston, again, that's going to be a different amount of risk. So there's going to be a difference in the premium.
And, of course, as people hear this show in Houston, Texas, that's one thing. They hear it on the Internet after the broadcast in many cities. And here we are in Houston, we see thousands and thousands of cars on the road. So we're going to pay a little bit more in Houston. However, if you're listening in some little country town, you probably get a better car insurance rate, I'm guessing.
Potentially. Again, it goes back to the risk.
Who knows? Yeah.
It goes back to the risk. And does that insurance company have an appetite for that type of coverage? I mean, you could be a country town in Oklahoma but have a higher rate because of the concerns about tornadoes. Or you could be in a country town in Colorado, but you might be a higher rate because you've got mountains and when the snow melts, you've got flooding. So it really just depends upon a lot of different aspects that we need to look at. And I think that's one of the reasons why you need to find an insurance advisor that you trust so you can have those conversations. So one, make sure that you have the type of coverage, in this case for your car or your truck, that you need as an individual, but also keeping in mind what are your budgetary constraints.
That's right. And as people listen, if you are in any of those other states other than Houston, Texas, or other than Texas, Stewart Insurance is there to help you wherever you are. You could be in Indiana, like you said, while we were talking about Wyoming and all these places. You're helping people all over the country in a tremendous way, 24/7.
24/7. We've got clients all over the U.S. I'm working with some folks in Florida right now and just finished up a project.
They get hurricanes too.
They do. So Florida, I've just finished up with a client in Austin. So all over the state and all over the country.
That's right. People far and wide know that famous phone number for Stewart Insurance.
866-798-2827.
It's music to everybody's ears. Once again, John, what's that phone number?
866-798-2827.
Before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know? And we'll be back to the Army of Women here.
Just back to the Army of Women,
Just saying.
If you want to be properly insured, whether that be for your auto or your home, if you want to make sure that you've got the right flood policy, wind, if you've got a motorcycle, an RV, a second home, for your real estate business, errors and omissions, cyber, if you're a real estate broker, title attorney, agent, property management firm, we're here to help, and we're here to help you figure out what's your best plan options to make sure that you are properly insured.
No doubt about it. The phone number again at Stewart Insurance is
866-798-2827.
The website?
stewartinsurance.com, and you can email us at stewartinsurance@stewart.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Bramlett, Stewart Insurance.
Thank you, Bill.
As we conclude the show, Myleah Davis is back, broker owner of RE/MAX Property Group. Myleah.
Well, one of the things that I wanted to mention is that one of our strong beliefs is we don't just stick a sign in the yard when we want to sell a house. And that became kind of like the call for a lot of agents during COVID because the market was so strong. They said, I'm just going to take pictures with my cell phone. What does it matter? It's going to sell. It does matter.
It does.
Because if you don't have the marketing and advertising that we put behind every one of our listings, we actually pay for advertising. We pay for social media. And to make sure that our houses get the most exposure possible, get the most multiple offers.
Even in this brisk market.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you don't want to leave money on the table. So, yeah, you can sell it. Sure, you can. But, when you have 70 offers, you're going to get 50, 70,000. I got one house, 700,000 over asking.
Whoa. Say that again?
Yeah, 700,000 over asking.
What was the asking price?
12 days. Well, it was a $3 million house.
Still.
Yeah, 700,000.
That buys a lot of gas.
Sold in 12 days. And it had been on the market 5 years, not sold.
Oh,
so marketing makes a big difference.
What city was that in?
It was in Tomball.
It must have had land.
It was on 12 acres.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
And this sounds like this could be part of your experience prior to being in real estate in
television.
In television.
I was in marketing and advertising. I started in market research.
You learned some tricks, I bet.
I
we
sure
need to
did.
talk.
Yeah, and I put that to these guys know I write all the descriptions for all our listings myself, and I don't use the word amazing a million times, and
Conveniently located.
Yeah, conveniently located.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't waste a character. I'm really, really very careful.
So you're kind of organized, eh?
Just a little.
Just a little. So tell me about your to-do list on Monday.
Oh, Lord. My to-do list changes every day, but I'm very, very, time management is my big thing.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, you're running a tight ship and a fun ship. Again, if I didn't have this job, I would be at your door sending you my resume.
Come on over.
I don't know what you could do with me, but there is no hope. In the meantime, what else do you want people to know?
I would love for people to follow us on social media. Look for me on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. I have a TikTok account, Myleah Davis Realtor. I'm growing it, so please get on there and like all my stuff. I'm out of my comfort zone, so help me.
And once again, the phone number is?
Our office is 713-253-0104.
One more time.
713-253-0104.
And as we say goodbye to the team, they will give us their phone numbers. Here she is, Anita Lloyd. Anita, welcome back.
Hey,
Super fun, huh?
Oh, it's awesome.
Well, let's do it again sometime, eh?
It would be fun.
All right. And let's tell people, Anita Lloyd, how they can reach you.
Anita Lloyd at 832-217-8763.
One more time.
832-217-8763. Anita Home.
Anita Lloyd, Anita Home. There you go. And here she is, Melissa Sanchez. Hey, Melissa, as we conclude the show, I hate to stop this show. This is too much fun, but let's tell people, Melissa Sanchez, how can we reach you?
281-253-2887. 281-253-2887.
Super awesome. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it. Laura.
It's Laura. Just say Laura.
She's
and
back.
this is the thing. It's LauraSellsHouston.com.
LauraSellsHouston.com.
Yes, I leave my last name out of it because it's difficult to pronounce, difficult to spell, so I just keep it easy.
Well, the difficult part of the spelling is we're used to having a U before an I when we spell stuff, and it comes the I-U.
Yeah, I know.
What if there were, if there was
It's
an O,
misspelled all the
I-O-U.
time.
All right.
So just keep it Laura.
Hey, but listen, I can say the name.
Okay.
Laura LaJudice.
Yes,
there
you
it
go.
is.
You got it. You
All
got
right,
it.
super awesome. How can we reach you?
713-320-0562.
One more time.
713-320-0562.
And thank you all for listening to Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. I'm your host, Bill Knapik, together with John Bramlett, Tom Carpentier, Justin Ramirez. Oh, yeah, Larry Warren doing super work right there at Stewart Title. Thank you for listening. You can simply go to stewart.com/radio. That's right. You want to see this mighty team that we've had on the show and any other show, simply go to stewart.com/radio. You'll see the YouTube channel. You'll see all the splendor of the super guests, and you'll get to hear them. That's right, for the last couple of years. Stewart.com/radio. And we'll see you next week. Thanks for listening